This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
What's up, dog? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Excellent. Can't complain, because I was tripping out on all this thing the last couple of days about the Bears, and they were practicing so hard and they took some of the players down, and then some of the beat writers were talking about the Bears players were dirty. Yeah, but dude, I want my players to be dirty too. Then answer back, bro. Punch him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Don't allow that kind of shit to happen. And it's something you and I have talked about with the Canes in the past, that they needed to be a tougher group. They've been getting pushed around for years now, and we are watching now the Canes be the team that pushes people around now. And to me, dude, when you're playing football, that's why I use the Panthers as a perfect example, or you could talk about the old Canes. But when the Panthers nowadays, does anybody want to play the Panthers in hockey? No. Why? Because they know it's 60 minutes of effing hell, bro, that they're going to bring a physical nature to the game. And when the Canes were the Canes, they brought a physical nature to the game. And to me, when the bully is bullying you, like the Bears were trying, it's because, look at Detroit now. They're already talking shit about the Dolphins. It's because they know that they can push you around, and you got to do something about it, dude. And that to me is, if you're playing football or you're playing hockey, brother, toughness has got to be at the center of everything that you do, mental or physical.
Yeah, they're still playing tackle football, right? Not flag football. I know flag football is in the Olympics now, and we see all the 7-on-7 stuff. But at heart, there's still a warrior that's supposed to be inside of you, right? There still has to be somebody who's not going to let that other guy intimidate you. And finding those type of guys is central on any team, no matter what the sport is. You need guys that are unafraid, that are going to get right into the middle of the fight and stand up for their teammates.
That's the whole I'm a soldier, a warrior, that's from
UD, right?
Yeah.
You had UD on the Heat for years as the enforcer. You think back to the good Dolphins teams of the 70s. I mean, you could probably name a bunch of guys that were sort of their UD, right?
And what's it called? Langer and guys like that and Larry Little and guys like that were just going to knock your ass out, bro. Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes. And that, to me, this week, this whole thing about, the Bears were too physical and they were dirty and taking people to the ground. Well, bro, why didn't you answer back and knock their asses to the ground? Send them a message that you're not going to get. What do you do to a bully, right?
Right.
You punch him in the face, bro, and you tell him, yo, this is not going to happen here. You know what I mean? And that's where you either are the bully or you get bullied. And somehow or another, our football teams have been bullied. And I think the one in Coral Gables is about to start bullying more now. And they're going to get back to what they've done. By the way, speaking of bullying and being tough and being a fighter, Dana White manages a lot of fighters at the UFC. He apparently now is an open Miami Hurricanes fan. He says he's going to come back for the Miami Notre Dame game. Did you catch that with Dana White?
Yeah, I saw Sports Illustrated had something on it not too long ago. Yeah, I mean, I think it's because his daughter is going to UM, if I'm not mistaken. That might be the reason why. But but yeah, I mean, listen, Mario's got some MMA guys. Let's not forget, Mario would probably have been an MMA or
son of a bitch.
Right.
That's a tough son of a bitch
for football. I mean, him and his brothers, the stories I've heard about the fights him and his brothers had on campus.
I wouldn't mess with those guys. I wouldn't mess with
them. No. So yeah, that comes that's real. That's not fake.
Oh no, when it comes to toughness, there's nothing about Mario Cristobal that is bullshit about his toughness. He is the real deal. And we saw him play, bro. We saw him bring it to the table. He was a nasty player. He played well, bro, and he's been a tough guy all through. For him, it's just kind of, it's funny because the Dolphins made a coaching change in Craig Ackerman, and you saw a nice, it's only preseason, but they looked much more structured and better in just the first preseason game. At the same time, Corey Heatherman is the change that the Miami Hurricanes have made. And to me, if you're able to finally fix your assistant coaches and get the right ones, plus he has kind of taken that conservative stuff and put it on the side a little bit. I just think that now you may have the right combination. I don't know if that's the answer yet because we have to see Heatherman's defense kind of take over and be that. But dude, if you get a defense that can perform with this offense and the potential it has, sky's the limit, dude. Sky's the
Yeah,
limit.
and the one thing I would say that's pretty evident with this team is there's a lot more depth on that side of the
Oh
football
yeah.
now
Yeah.
than there was a year ago when you had to go into the transfer portal and just try to find guys that could be starters. They got 6 guys now in the secondary and a lot of guys that have had playing experience at the power forward level. So to me, this is a much more experienced, gritty group, and which is good when you're able to add to the transfer portal guys that have played, because that allows a lot of the young guys he's recruited within the last 2 years to not be forced into major roles. Meaning you could play a David Blay, who you got from Louisiana Tech and was a all conference USA first team selection at D line. And that allows Justin Scott to not be out there for 70 snaps or 60 snaps. He can play 45, 50 snaps and be elite in those 45, 50 snaps instead of having to go and play 60 or 70, which is what the case was with a guy like Ruben Bain 2 years ago when he was the ACC freshman
Right.
of the year. And eventually that wears on your body. You get the injuries and then you're out. You don't have that guy for 4 or 5 games. So I think that this is a much deeper team, and you're going to start to see that in year 4 of the Cristobal era.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, I've told you already, I'm super psyched about the Canes season this year. I may not be pumped about the Dolphins, but I am super psyched. I think the Canes are headed in the right direction. I think we're gonna have a hell of a year this year. How about a top 10 ranking, bro? So it's nice to see that the pundits out there kind of see the same thing that I'm seeing right now, that the Canes are building it right.
No, and more importantly, I'd say the coaches as well. Like the coaches poll also had them 10th. And so to me, it's a sign that even they recognize that, hey, this isn't the old Miami teams that were overrated and weren't
Right.
made of substance. Like when those guys start to view what Mario is doing and respect it and give him, that his praise, that tells me that this is more real than just hype, which we've seen over the years with these Miami teams. So again, he's doing it the right way. He's doing it on the lines of scrimmage. That goes on the road, anywhere you play.
Anywhere.
You're
Weather
big up
doesn't
front.
matter. Yeah.
You can play and win anywhere, and so it's not kind of the Dolphins, right? Which is all speed and offense
Yes.
and
Yeah.
movement and tricks and parlor tricks, and this is real substance. So that's the
It's what we've
difference.
been since Marino, bro. We've
Yeah.
always been, there's a Ricky year sprinkled in and a Jay Ajayi year and shit like that happens. Lamar Smith, has a season, but more often than not, we've been a finesse team for 40 years, and that's why they don't go deep, and that's why they won't win in big moments. But this team is now built for big moments. So, do the players? How are they handling this top 10 stuff? Because I hope they handle it with like hunger, like, okay, that's nice, but it's not enough. Not like, oh, wow, we've arrived and we're top 10. I wonder how they're handling it, because I hope they're looking at it like in a pissed off fashion, like, yeah, that ain't shit. I want to be one.
Yeah, I think the leadership, one thing you have to remember here is Carson Beck was at Georgia and he won the SEC when he was there. He's 24-3 as a starter. He's played in a lot of big games. So this whole attitude of, oh, we got a top 10 matchup with Notre Dame. This dude has played in how many of those games in his career,
Right.
And then on the defensive side, you've got guys like Ruben Bain. You've got guys like Motori, who played in the Big Ten when he was at Rutgers. Like, he's faced big time opponents. There's guys that have been around the block on this team. And yes, there are some young guys who are going to be playing important roles, but for the most part, I think, you've got guys that have played in championship games and won conference championships. Zachariah Poyser, who they got at safety, who I think is going to be one of their best players this year, won a Conference USA championship last year. Again, yes, it's Conference USA, but it's a championship. It's something that he worked for and won at a high level in his division. So to me, the more guys you have like that on your roster, the better it ends up paying off in the end. And so I think this isn't a team that's going to be fazed by what they're ranked in the polls. They've already lived that moment last year with Cam Ward when they were, had a chance and they blew it. So I think there's a lot of hunger on this roster for sure.
By the way, get your Canes gear. They're at Canes Wear. Use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off online or in person. They got anything and everything practically with the Canes logo. They got stuff also for tailgating, tents, all kinds of stuff. Dolphin gear, Heat gear, Marlins gear, InterMiami gear. They got it all for you there at Canes Wear. Follow Manny, of course, Manny_Navarro. Manny, what do you got going on in the athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Been busy. Got a All-America team that's coming out tomorrow. I have my feature on Miami. Went down there for the beginning of camp. Wrote a story that's finally going to run tomorrow as well. Got plenty of more stuff in the athletic, man. This is the time of year when all of our preseason stuff is coming out. Bruce Feldman put out his freaks list. We put our top 100 transfers. I'm doing another thing now on the 20 players that are going to impact the college football playoff race. I got a Miami guy in there. So there's plenty of reading content for those of you who want to catch up on everything college football. I know a lot of people don't tune in until around this time of year. So they're probably catching up. Who are these guys they got in the portal again? Who's this? Carson Beck. How's he look? Those are the kind of questions they have. So those are the stories we got for you to read. All
right, good stuff. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great week. We will catch up on Friday, my friend. Thank you, sir.
Take care, brother.
You got it. Caneswear.com. Use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.